Hi there, welcome to Module 13 of Communications Campaigns. This is Professor M. Wanted to upload this video for you to just recap what we covered last week, which was chapters 22 on newsjacking and chapter 23, which was about search engine marketing, and give you some direction for this week. So you created a SWOT analysis earlier in the semester, and now that you're kind of winding up and getting towards the end of the semester, I want you to go back to that SWOT analysis and make sure that you fully identified all the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats that you have for your campaign, to make sure that you've included all of the information that you think needs to be included in that. And I also want you to go back and start reviewing all of the pieces of the campaign that you've put together to make sure that you've incorporated any changes or edits or suggestions that I've made to you individually throughout the semester. So by Saturday, you're going to review that SWOT, you're going to participate in the discussion board, and you're going to start to pull together your final project. And you'll want to read the last chapter, which is Make It Happen, which is chapter 24. So let's talk a little bit about newsjacking and what that is. This has really become something that PR professionals have really had to learn as a new skill set, and that is really staying current on current events and knowing things that are going on around the world, and then taking those opportunities to inject themselves into the news and create news around their brands or their companies. And so some of the examples that the author gave in the case studies were things like Barack Obama joining Instagram the day of the Republican caucus, and then hosting a news conference on Super Tuesday. I also talked about Deflategate and some of the things that brands did when that was a breaking story. So this really is requiring PR people and marketing people to be more attuned to other things that are going on that potentially they can jump in to be part of the story, whether it's on Google, Twitter, or Facebook. One of the examples they gave was around the Wynn Hotel when Prince Harry was in Vegas, and a photo got out there about him and how they were very creative about getting their brand into the news. So the goal is really that as news is breaking, you get in front of the journalist while they're looking for stories. And so you can either blog about things so that you get indexed by Google. A lot of people use Google Alerts and use keywords and phrases. So this is also a good time to monitor the media in real time. You can also deliver information at a live event. You can live stream. You can post things on Google Plus. You can comment on news stories as they're breaking on these online news publications. And you can tweet to reporters. These are just some of the things that you can be doing as you are trying to become part of the news. A news story really does have a life cycle, and there was a chart in the book that talked about as excitement grows and then as it wanes, interest wanes. And so really knowing what that news cycle is and knowing when things are going to peak, and then using some of those keywords and phrases that are trending, hashtags that may be trending, so that you pull people back to your organization or your story. So the whole goal is about getting noticed as things are happening. One of the examples they gave was Ohio Art, who's the maker of Etch-a-Sketch, during the Mitt Romney campaign in 2012, and how they took advantage of a comment that Mitt Romney made on the campaign trail. So things like that, just, Twitter can be a really good mechanism, whether you use things like TweetDeck or Hootsuite, which are monitoring tools where you're tracking different keywords or hashtags, but you have to have really a legitimate tie to the story, and otherwise you don't come across as authentic. So that's really important. And then the chapter 23, which was around search engine marketing, which really has been this whole course, learning about both the art and the science of making sure you're using words or phrases in your site so that you can be found organically through search engines. And then search engine advertising, where you actually pay for things like Google AdWords, where your real goal is to become the number one thing when Google does a search for either your name or your product or your program. And so the big focus is around creating that really good content of value for your readers, and really establishing yourself in the search engine space with your metadata and things of that nature. And then the last part that the author talked about was web landing pages, and what they are, and how you should use web landing pages to augment your website when you're trying to drive sales to your product or service. And that the copy should be short and simple with simple graphics, but it should be an extension of your brand, and so it should have the same look and feel. And that you really want to use these landing pages, you want to write from the buyer's perspective, and it's really about communications and not advertising. You want to provide client testimonials as part of your landing pages. You want to make sure that the call to action is easy and simple to understand. You want to have multiple calls to action throughout your landing pages. And then only ask for necessary information. So don't ask for someone's last name when you really don't need it. You just need their name and their email address. And then don't forget to follow up. So there should be some kind of autoresponder, some kind of follow up when someone comes to the landing page and they've given you that email address. And then the other example they gave was about the digital signage company Scala. So chapters 22 and 23, just kind of rounding out the semester, things to think about as you're doing your campaigns and as you're doing campaigns in the future. These are really important things to know as you grow and develop as a communications professional. So again, this week, review your SWOT analysis, make sure it's comprehensive, do the discussion board, and read that final chapter and start to really pull together your final project. And so your final project is really going to be a compilation of all the slides that you've sent in every single week, and it's going to be combined into one file so that I can look and see from the start to the finish that you've done your analysis, your planning, your implementation, and you've got an evaluation piece. So that was the framework that we were using this semester for your campaign. So I want to make sure that you have incorporated as well some of the concepts that we learned in the book, The New Rules of PR and Marketing. And so while the book wasn't specifically around campaigns, it was more around tactics, we want to make sure that you've incorporated all of that new knowledge into your campaign so that your campaign is effective today and moving forward. So thanks. Good luck this week. You guys are doing great with your projects. You're doing great on the discussion boards. I'm really liking what I'm seeing, and I feel like you've been able to go deep into all of these aspects of a campaign so that you can make this a repeatable and scalable process moving forward with future campaigns that you're going to do. But this is a really good framework, a really good process to go through every single time you create a campaign. So good luck this week, and I look forward to seeing what you come up with your SWOT analysis. And if you have any questions, please email me or call me. I'm happy to be there for you. So thanks, and have a great day.